Okay, everybody, I'm going to get started. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is DJ Ray. I've been doing these weekly lives on TikTok for the past month and a half or so. And just so you know what to expect, hi Pamela. Just so you know what to expect, every week I crown the greatest of all time in certain categories. You know, I've done the greatest music diva of all time. I've done the greatest music duo of all time. I've done the greatest guitar player of all time. And tonight I'm really excited because this one's going to be really cool. Lots of power on this list. And my goal is to crown the top of all time. So my topic tonight is the greatest rock band of all time. Now, last week I ended off by saying that it wouldn't just be rock bands, it would be any bands. But as I did my research and figured it out, the only band other than rock that would have qualified for this list, strangely enough, was the Bee Gees. And when I think of the Bee Gees, I don't really think, I think more of a vocal group than a band. But honorable mentions can go to them anyway. You know, bands like Earth, Wind and Fire, Kool and the Gang, but there just wasn't enough. And when you hear this list that I'm about to give you, you're going to see exactly what I mean. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into it. But just before I do that, I just want to let you know that I score based on a 10-point system. So each band is in place based on 2 points for vocals and lyrics, 2 points for style and image, 2 points for popularity, 2 points for their impact on music, and 2 points for the amount of songs charted. So that's how I come to these numbers. So without any delay, I'm going to jump right into number 20, which is Creedence Clearwater Revival. Okay? Or better known as CCR. Well, probably one of the longest names in the history of bands. So this band consisted of brothers John and Tom Fogerty, bassist Stu Cook, and drummer Doug Clifford. What makes CCR so special is the number of songs they charted in such a short period. Their most successful period took place between 1969 and 1971, when they produced 14 consecutive top 10 singles. This 2-year period included major hits like Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, Green River, Fortunate Son, and Who'll Stop the Rain, to name just a few. After 4 years of incredible chart success, CCR disbanded acrimoniously. Tom Fogerty had quit the band 1 year prior, and John Fogerty was kind of at odds with the remaining band members over matters of business and artistic control. And in 1993, CCR was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So coming in at number 20, Creedence Clearwater Revival, aka CCR, on my pursuit to get to the number 1 all-time greatest rock band. Who else do we have here? Hey, Eagle. Yeah, it's my sister Ange. I've got my family. I got my mom here, Nana Banana. I got my sister Ange here. Just a family affair. Gotta love when family supports family, eh? Okay, let's carry on. Thanks, Determination. I appreciate that. So, number 19 on my all-time greatest rock band. Who's going to be number 1? We'll find out. 19 more picks. Number 19 goes to Nirvana. Nirvana was an American rock band that was founded in 1981 and were often referred to as the figurehead band of Generation X. They were one of the pioneers in establishing the Seattle grunge scene, which fuses elements of punk rock and heavy metal. In 1991, Nirvana found mainstream success with Smells Like Teen Spirit. Ooh, say that 5 times quick. Smells Like Teen Spirit, which was taken from their landmark album, Nevermind. Having sold more than 75 million records worldwide, Nirvana is considered as one of the best-selling bands of all time. On April 8th, 1994, Kurt Cobain, lead singer, was found dead at his Seattle home. Police concluded that he died approximately 3 days earlier from a self-inflicted shotgun wound to the head. Having died at 27 years old, he joined a precarious list of other musicians who died at the same age. This list includes artists like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Brian Jones, Jim Morrison, and Amy Winehouse, to name just a few. In 2014, Nirvana was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So there's my number 19 pick, greatest rock band of all time. As we move up the list, my number 18 spot goes to Journey. Journey was an American rock band that was formed in 1973 by former members of Santana and the Steve Miller Band. They had their biggest commercial success between the years 1978 and 1987, when Steve Perry was their lead vocalist. Some of their biggest singles during this period include Any Way You Want It, Who's Crying Now, Don't Stop Believing, Open Arms, and Separate Ways. Having sold over 52 million albums in the US, they are listed as the 11th best-selling band of all time. In 2017, Journey was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not quite the same band without Steve Perry. When I think of Journey, it's Steve Perry and that's it. But definitely they get the nod for the number 18 spot on my list, moving on to the number 1 all-time greatest rock band of all time. Once again, I just want to... how am I doing? I'm doing good, Vito, thank you. Other than this cold, which I just want to apologize up front for. If I sound a little bit nasally, I'll do my best to sound as clear as I can. Appreciate the patience. Okay, who is the greatest rock band of all time? Before we get any closer, I'd love if you guys would type in your thoughts in the chat of who that band is. Remember, they're rock bands. So who is the greatest rock band of all time in your opinion? And I'll be watching to see if you chose right. So that takes me to number 17, one of my favorite bands, The Doors. The Doors were an American rock band that were formed in 1965 and consisted of Ray Manzarek, Robbie Krieger, John Densmore, and of course, lead singer Jim Morrison. They were dubbed the Kings of Acid Rock and were one of the most controversial rock acts of the 1960s, primarily due to Morrison's deep lyrics and erratic stage persona. Although they were cut short due to Jim Morrison's untimely death in 1971, they managed to score 2 number 1 U.S. singles with Light My Fire in 1967 and Hello, I Love You in 1968. In 1993, the Doors were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they come in at my number 17 spot in pursuit of the greatest rock band of all time. One-man band. Kiss. And you got Kiss as the number 1 of all time? I love Kiss. We'll see. Yeah, it is going around, eh, Vito? I wish I would have just got rid of it like yesterday. Who said the Eagles there? We got an AC/DC and Eagles from Uncle Mike. Okay, let's carry on then. Let's see. Keep punching them in if you have any thoughts on who the best of all time is, the best rock band of all time. Type it into the chat. Got a couple for the Eagles now. Let's see how you guys know your music. Number 16. Oops, a second here. Just before I get to that, if you're just joining me, I'm DJ Ray, and this week I'm counting down the greatest rock bands in history as I eventually crown the greatest of all time. So stick with me. We're at number 16 right now, and the number 16 rock band of all time were an American alternative rock band formed in 1980 by drummer Bill Berry, guitarist Peter Buck, bassist Mike Mills, and lead vocalist Michael Stipe. Of course, I'm referring to REM. Some of their biggest singles include The One That I Love, 1987, Stand, 1989, Losing My Religion, and Shiny Happy People, both released in 1991. REM was very pivotal in the creation of the alternative rock genre and marked the point when post-punk turned into alternative rock. As alternative rock grew in popularity, many bands considered REM as a major influence, including Nirvana, Radiohead, Coldplay, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and the Stone Temple Pilots, to name just a few. In 2024, REM was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Okay, how you guys liking the choices so far? We've done, what have we done, 5 so far? So we have, let's see here. We had CCR at number 20. We have Nirvana at number 19. We have Journey at number 18. The Doors at number 17. And REM at number 16. Thanks for the like, Debbie. Thanks for the like, Sarah. Appreciate it. Okay, number 15 are an English progressive rock band that were founded in 1965 by original members Syd Barrett, Nick Mason, Richard Wright, and Roger Waters. A couple years later, in 1967, David Gilmour also joined the lineup. Their biggest U.S. singles include Money in 1973 and Another Brick in the Wall in 1979. That song topped the charts in many countries. Both of those songs topped the charts in many countries, including Canada, the UK, and America. Of course, I'm talking about Pink Floyd here. So by 2013, Pink Floyd had sold more than 250 million records worldwide, making them one of the best-selling music artists of all time. In 1996, they were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. See, a band like Pink Floyd is kind of like a cult band in a way. When you look at their discography, it's there's not a lot of high charting songs, but similar to like the Grateful Dead or bands like that, Led Zeppelin, bands like that just had a huge popularity as like a kind of a cult following. Pink Floyd was much like that, and man, talk about unique. But it doesn't hurt to be a little bit abbreviated, inebriated when you listen to their music, if you know what I mean. Anyway, hi Ginny, how are you? Cool. Okay, so number 15 spot goes to Pink Floyd on my list of the greatest rock bands of all time. Which brings me to number 14. These guys were an American rock band that was formed in Boston back in 1970. They consisted of bassist Tom Hamilton, drummer Joey Kramer, lead vocalist Steven Tyler, and guitarists Joe Perry and Brad Whitford. Any guesses? Why Pink, Eagle? You're not a Pink Floyd fan? Okay. Guesses? No? We're talking about Aerosmith. At number 14, it's Aerosmith. Throughout the 1970s, this band toured extensively and charted a dozen Hot 100 singles in the US, including Sweet Emotion, Dream On, and Walk This Way. Their most successful period for hit singles happened between the late 1980s and early 1990s. Some of their biggest songs during this era included Dude Looks Like a Lady, Angel, Ragdoll, Love in an Elevator, Janie's Got a Gun, and Crazy. In 1998, after almost 30 years together, they scored their first number 1 single in the US with I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, which was taken from the Armageddon soundtrack. Aerosmith's accolades include 4 Grammy Awards, 6 AMAs, and 10 MTV Video Music Awards. I used to love their music videos. They're just amazing. In 2001, they were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that's Aerosmith at number 14. Okay, we're going to keep moving up. My top 10 gets pretty heavy, so hold on to your seats. Excuse me, again. Got a little bit of a cold, so bear with me if you don't mind. Okay, who else do we have in here? Stargate Chrissy. Glad you can join me. Nana Banana picks the Rolling Stones as the number 1 band of all time. So we've got a few picks here. Stones, the Eagles, Kiss, in a few here. So, okay, let's see what happens. Number 13, my favorite number, The Police. They were an English rock band that was formed in London back in 1977 by drummer Stuart Copeland, guitarist Andy Summers, and lead vocalist bassist Sting. Emerging in the British new wave scene, their unique style of rock included elements of punk, reggae, and jazz. They had 5 number one singles in the UK, including Every Breath You Take, 1983, that also topped the US charts. Among their many accolades, the Police won 6 Grammy Awards, 2 Brit Awards, and in 2003, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's number 13. And just a note, if you're just joining my live, just want to remind you, I'm DJ Ray, and this week I'm counting down the greatest rock bands of all time in pursuit of crowning the number one rock band in the history of music. And we're going to get to that. But right now, we're on to number 12. These guys were an American rock band that from 1974 to 1985 consisted of lead vocalist David Lee Roth, bassist Michael Anthony, drummer Alex Van Halen, and of course his brother, lead guitarist Eddie Van Halen. Who am I talking about? So Van Halen is coming in at number 12. And by 1985, David Lee Roth was replaced by lead singer Sammy Hagar. So throw him in there as well. As of 2019, Van Halen has sold more than 80 million albums worldwide, making them one of the best-selling groups of all time. Their 1983 single, Jump, was Van Halen's most successful hit, reaching number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart in the US. In 2021, Rolling Stone magazine ranked this single on its list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Unfortunately, on October 6, 2020, Eddie Van Halen, one of the greatest guitarists in music history, died of cancer 1 month after his father's death. Wolfgang Van Halen confirmed that Van Halen was disbanding. Yeah, that was a big loss 4 years ago. Many would say Eddie Van Halen was the greatest guitarist of all time, and I'd have a hard time arguing that. But music just won't be the same without him. But he had a lot to do with making the band one of the greats of all time, and they come in at number 12, Van Halen. Okay, number 11. This band here, I gotta admit, I've never been a major fan, as popular as they are, and they're much like the Led Zeppelin and Grateful Dead's and Pink Floyd's in the sense that they didn't have that many charting hits, but they were like had a bit of a cult following, and that band is AC/DC. The reason I wasn't a big fan is because I found a lot of their music sounded the same, but millions of people can't be wrong. So with that, AC/DC was an Australian rock band that was formed in 1973. Several months after the release of their 1979 album, Highway to Hell, lead singer Bon Scott died of alcohol poisoning and was replaced by their mainstay singer, Brian Johnson. In the year 2000, VH1 ranked AC/DC at number 4 on their list of the 100 greatest artists of hard rock. And in 2003, the band was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So there we go. Number 11, AC/DC. And with that, just a reminder of my picks so far. Number 20, I had CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Hi, Kelvin. Glad you can make it. Darren, nice to see you, buddy. So CCR at number 20, Nirvana at number 19. At number 18, I had Journey. Number 17, The Doors. Number 16, REM. Number 15, Pink Floyd. Number 14 was Aerosmith. Number 13 was The Police. Number 12 was Van Halen. And number 11 was AC/DC, which takes me to my top 10. Coming in at number 10 was an English rock band that was formed in London back in 1964. Their classic lineup from 1964 to 1978 consisted of lead vocalist Roger Daltrey, guitarist Pete Townsend, bassist John Entwistle, and drummer Keith Moon. Pete Townshend's guitar smashing incident at the Railway Hotel in 1964 is one of Rolling Stone magazine's 50 moments that changed the history of rock and roll. Some of the band's biggest singles include I Can See for Miles, 1967, Won't Get Fooled Again, 1971, and Who Are You, 1978. In the year 1990, they were inducted into both the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in 2005, they were inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame. So, yeah, the Who were a big part of that British invasion in the mid-1960s, and really left a major impact. So it's clear to see why I have them at number 10. I would have just liked to see them last a little bit longer than they did, but they put in a good 10 or 15 years. So yeah, the Who comes in at number 10. Before I carry on, once again, I just remind you, I'm DJ Ray, and I do these podcasts every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live on TikTok, and every week I pick the greatest of different topics. So this week, it's the greatest rock band of all time, taking me to number 9. These guys were a British-American rock band that was formed in London back in 1967. Having sold more than 120 million records worldwide, they are considered one of the best-selling bands of all time. Some of their biggest U.S. singles include Rhiannon, Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, You Make Lovin' Fun, and their 1977 chart topper, Dreams. This track was taken from their 1977 album Rumors, which won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. If you haven't guessed yet, I'm speaking about Fleetwood Mac. So Fleetwood Mac coming in at number 9. And in 1979, they were honored with a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. And in 1998, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. After Christine McVie's death in 2022, Stevie Nicks stated that Fleetwood Mac would not continue without her. She actually just made that statement earlier this year. So sad to say, but Fleetwood Mac is technically done. Although a lot of times these artists say things like that and they come back for one more tour. Look at Kiss, for example. So coming in at number 9, I have the lovely Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac at number 9. On my pursuit to the number 1 rock band of all time. Well, so we got Stargate Chrissy. Look at my sister out there working the crowd for me. Well, it's good to have good family, isn't it? Okay, let's continue on to number 8. Number 8, Guns N' Roses. These guys are an American rock band that was formed in 1985 as a result of a merger between local California bands LA Guns and Hollywood Roses. Their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, in 1987, produced many popular singles, including Sweet Child of Mine, which topped the U.S. charts. Later rock bands that were influenced by Guns N' Roses include Fall Out Boy, Avenged Sevenfold, Nickelback, Sum 41, and Buckcherry. Considered as one of the best-selling bands in history, in 2012, Guns N' Roses were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, yeah, no worries. Okay, so if you guys want to, still, it's not too late if you want to type in who you think is the number 1 band, rock band in music history. In the meantime, I'll carry on with lucky number 7, and that spot goes to Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi was an American rock band that was formed in New Jersey back in 1983. In 1986, they achieved global recognition with their 3rd album, Slippery When Wet. This album produced iconic singles like Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, and Wanted Dead or Alive. Bon Jovi has been credited with bridging the gap between heavy metal and pop rock. If you listen to them, it's just that, right in the middle. So were they heavy metal? Not really. Were they pop rock? Not overly, but yeah. They bridged that gap between the two. Throughout their storied career, they have performed 2,700 concerts in 50 countries for over 34 million fans. And in 2018, they were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The thing I really love about Bon Jovi is their songwriting. The lyrics in almost all their songs mean so much. If you're just the type of person that listens to the music and doesn't really delve too much into the lyric side of things, maybe you won't appreciate them as much. But on the flip side, if you are a lyricist and like good song lyrics, Bon Jovi's right up there. And they come in at number 7 on my all-time greatest rock band list. Taking me to number 6. Excuse me for a sec. Just going to deal with my cold for a sec. Once again, I apologize if I'm a little nasally, but like I said earlier, as Freddie Mercury once said, the show must go on. Number 6. You guys probably remember this band. They were an English rock band that was formed in London back in 1968. Members of the band included lead vocalist Robert Plant, guitarist Jimmy Page, bassist John Paul Jones, and drummer John Bonham. Of course, I'm referring to Led Zeppelin. Hi, Alicia. How are you? Led Zeppelin significantly influenced the music industry in the development of album-oriented rock and stadium rock. They are best known for their singles Whole Lotta Love, 1969, Black Dog, 1971, Stairway to Heaven, 1971, and Rock and Roll, 1972. Rolling Stone magazine described Led Zeppelin as the heaviest band of all time and the biggest band of the 1970s. In 1995, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm sure there's some pretty heavy rockers out there that would crown Led Zeppelin as the best of all time, but after hearing the next 5, my top 5, you may want to question that. Keep in mind, with my scoring system, one of the points, or 2 points, is for number of songs charted. And bands like Led Zeppelin didn't chart as much as, say, bands like Bon Jovi. Or this next one, coming in at number 5, is U2. Okay? They were an Irish rock band that was formed in Dublin back in 1976. The group consists of drummer Larry Mullen Jr., bassist Adam Clayton, guitarist The Edge, and lead singer Bono. Their most successful album, The Joshua Tree, was released in 1987 and included 2 number 1 US singles, With or Without You, and I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. U2 have won an incredible 22 Grammy Awards, the most of any band, and in 2005, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's worth noting that winning 22 Grammy Awards for a rock band is like unheard of. For some reason, over history, rock bands don't chart quite as well as pop bands or even R&B bands or top 40 bands. All these other bands, they don't chart quite as high for some reason. And I think it was just the stigma of rock back in the days. It was just too hard in the 60s and 70s to really put on the mainstream charts. So for U2 to have charted as often as they did and winning 22 Grammy Awards, that's incredible. That in itself could almost make an argument for them to be pushed higher. But U2 for me comes in at number 5 on my list of the greatest rock bands in history. Number 4, I think somebody said this band. I'm just going to try to remember who said it. Once you hear it, if you say me, I'll know who said it. But somebody said the Eagles. I got the Eagles at number 4. And the Eagles were an American rock band that was formed in 1971 by Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Bernie Leadon, and Randy Meisner. In 1975, Bernie Leadon was replaced by Joe Walsh. During the years 1974 and 1979, the Eagles had 5 number 1 US singles, including Best of My Love, One of These Nights, New Kid in Town, Hotel California, and Heartache Tonight. Not bad. Throughout their career, they have won a total of 6 Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year for Hotel California. And in 1998, they were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So whoever said the Eagles, you're wrong about being number 1, but impressive for having them in the top 5. So I give you a thumbs up for that. Number 4, the Eagles. Okay, my top 3. Now this is getting juicy. Are you ready for this? Number 3 are a British rock band that was formed in 1970 by guitarist Brian May, drummer Roger Taylor, and lead vocalist Freddie Mercury. They were later joined by bassist John Deacon. Who are we talking about here? Any guesses? Of course, it's Queen. Queen comes in at number 3. Their most popular singles throughout their career include Bohemian Rhapsody, 1975, We Are the Champions, 1977. Good guess, Chrissy. Crazy Little Thing Called Love, 1979. And another one, Bites the Dust, in 1980. I Want to Break Free was pretty popular too, Chrissy, I must say. And they have a whole bunch of other ones too, but I have to take another 10 minutes to name them all off. So just to give you the gist of things. In 2001, Queen was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And in 2002, they were given a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. In the year 2004, their iconic single, Bohemian Rhapsody, was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. And in 2018, they were presented with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. So, needless to say, Queen had quite the impact on rock and come in at number 3 on my all-time list. Greatest voice ever? I'm assuming you're referring to Freddie Mercury. And if you're just going with voices, I might have to agree that they're number 1. I'm not sure. Did we have one week where we were picking the best voices? If we didn't, we're going to get to it. But Freddie Mercury may hands down be the greatest voice of rock, maybe the greatest voice in music history. But Queen comes in at number 3, which takes me to my top 2. Any last minute guesses? Okay, number 2. They were an English rock band that was formed in 1962 by original members Charlie Watts, Bill Wyman, Brian Jones, Keith Richards, and Mick Jagger. So Nana Banana, one of the oldest ones in the room probably, knows her music. But you didn't get number 1, Nana. So, but pretty impressive. The Rolling Stones, in 1964, they were at the forefront of the British invasion, eventually releasing chart-topping singles in the US like Satisfaction, Get Off of My Cloud, Paint It Black, Ruby Tuesday, and Honky Tonk Women. In 2002, CNN called the Stones far and away the most successful act in rock, adding that since 1989 alone, the band has generated more than $1.5 billion in gross revenue. And that was 22 years ago. So what does that work out to these days? 10 billion? It's getting crazy with the money, the dollar values. In 1986, they won the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. And in 2019, Billboard magazine ranked them at number 2 on its list of the greatest artists of all time. That's the greatest artists of all time, not just rock bands. So I guess in some ways I got that right. I've got them at number 2 as well. And I didn't cheat. I didn't peek on Rolling Stone magazine's picks either. So, but that was pretty easy, wasn't it? The Rolling Stones. I'm sure many of you, somebody said Rolling Stones number 1. Guys are really lively in that chat room tonight. I love to see it. I'm sure many of you would think, somebody said it earlier, Rolling Stones were number 1. I don't remember who it was, but or sorry, Anna Banana, and there was one other person too, I believe, that I can't remember who it was, but both of you were kind of right, but that's only number 2. So I'm going to take a little drink for my number 1 pick. I'm hoping somebody can give me a drum roll. Not that I'll be able to hear it. You think Kiss is number 1? Somebody else said Kiss too. Is that you, Ange? So we got a couple people saying Kiss, the greatest of all time. But it's not. Let's get that drum roll. Number 1, greatest rock band of all time. It's got to be the Beatles. Come on, guys. The Beatles were an English rock band that was formed in Liverpool back in 1960. Their core lineup consisted of John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. Widely regarded as the most influential band of all time, they were an integral part of the British invasion back in the mid-1960s. Check this out. With worldwide sales of approximately 600 million units sold, they are hands down the best-selling band of all time. So as far as sales are concerned, in such a short period too, keep that in mind. It's mind-blowing what the Beatles did. Among their many accolades, the Beatles have won 7 Grammy Awards, 4 Brit Awards, and 15 Ivor Novello Awards. In 1988, in their first year of eligibility, they were officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In the year 2011, the Beatles topped Rolling Stone magazine's list of the greatest artists in history. I guess I got that one right too. So there you go. My number 1 greatest rock band of all time goes to the Beatles. Now, I just want to say something about Kiss before we go. I want you to know that I think out of any band on this list, I just have to double check them, with the exception of the Eagles, because I'm a big Eagles fan, and I'm a big Beatles and Stones fan too, but with the exception of a couple, I would say Kiss is my favorite band ever. Okay? I was tempted to put them on, but there's a couple things with Kiss that I have to be honest with. You know, remember the point scoring system, vocals and lyrics. Their lyrics weren't exactly, the greatest. They were just about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Their songs charted. They weren't a lot either. I mean, they did have an impact on music, and they were different. And probably I would have had them at number 21 or 22. But yeah, sorry to disappoint on that one. But just if it's any comfort, I'm a huge Kiss fan myself. So yeah, there you have it. My top 20 and my number 1 rock band of all time, the Beatles, followed by the Stones and Queen. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to wrap things up here in a minute. But just before I do, I just want to remind you to check me out on all the major social media platforms by typing in DJ Ray's Music. I'm pretty much on any platform you can think of, as long as they're one of the major ones. Don't want to mention them by name because I kind of did that last week and got reminded it's probably not the greatest idea when you're on TikTok to mention all their competitors. But you can find me on pretty much any major social media platform. Just type in DJ Ray's Music and you'll be able to find me. I also, you can check out my website, which is really cool, djraysmusic.com. And just to let you know, my next live will be, believe it or not, I'm going to come live on Christmas Eve at 8 p.m. next Tuesday, December 24th. And I'm going to do something a little different based on the time of year. And I'm going to count down the 20 greatest Christmas songs and crown the greatest Christmas song of all time. So that's going to happen next Tuesday, December 24th at 8 p.m. So if you got a second to break away from the family, or if you just want to put it on to listen to hear me mention the greatest Christmas songs, and then you can go put YouTube on and play them for your family, whatever, but I'll be here, same bat time, same bat channel, TikTok, live next Tuesday, December 24th at 8 p.m. I hope you can make it. In the meantime, I thank you all for coming in. Thanks, Ange, for helping moderate with me. I appreciate it. Please not Mariah Carey, Chrissy. What do you think the odds of Mariah Carey's song being on the top 20 Christmas songs? I'll try to keep it in mind and not make it number one, though, okay? You have to come next time to see for sure, though. Hi, Valerie, by the way. If I missed anybody, I'm really sorry. I don't think I missed too many, but so that's it. Thanks again for all your support. I'm here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. live on TikTok, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, December 24th at 8 p.m. Take care.